What questions remain unanswered? If Heidi was on the other end of the line here, what would you be asking her on these issues?
Well, there's a lot of questions, and just like you pointed out, I mean, if she does come to this conference, and here we are in Bismarck with a record-setting conference for energy, really a nice time to spotlight all the great things we have going on in the state. And meanwhile, you have President Obama and his EPA, which was endorsed by Heidi Heitkamp, not only for the onset when she called him amazing, but she's confirmed that she'll support him for a second term. And so what Heidi Heitkamp is really signing on to here is 5 more years, or really 4 to 5 more years, of more of the same from the Obama administration, which so far has threatened to all but shut down the energy industry in North Dakota. And so if Heidi Heitkamp was on that line, I think there'd be a lot of questions. And the first one would be, do you still support the energy policies of President Obama that would essentially deplete the energy industry in North Dakota and dismantle it in some form?
Has she been asked that question point blank?
I don't know that she has, Scott, and I think that's one of the issues in this campaign is that we've seen Heidi Heitkamp out on the campaign trail, whether it's in a town hall or at the Democrat convention. She doesn't make very many campaign appearances, but when she does, her message is always very tightly controlled, and she's very focused on distancing herself from President Obama. But when you look at her record, and when you look at President Obama's record, Heidi Heitkamp was a very litigious person when she was Attorney General. She, was a big proponent of this tobacco lawsuit, and it seems to fit right in with what we see happening with the EPA. There's always the threat of our energy industry in North Dakota being harmed by the rulings from the EPA. I mean, there's a report out that says the EPA could halt oil production and natural gas production in this country to the tune of anywhere between 10 and 40%. And so she is endorsing a policy of President Obama's that would continue for 4 years, and I don't know where that would leave us in North Dakota. I think that would leave us in a place we don't want to be.
And, campaigns are for clarity. So if she disagrees with this stuff, or what the regional administrator for the EPA, who had to recently resign because he talked about the EPA's role being, their policy being to crucify oil and gas companies to get the rest of the industry to comply with the laws. We know where their record is, so it's a good opportunity to say, well, I reject that. And I wish more, Democrats would do that. They sort of do this Booker back and forth thing, like what's happening on the free market. Besides, her agreement or disagreement, we hope, with the Obama administration energy policy, what do we know of Heidi Heitkamp's record as an attorney general on energy?
Well, her record as an attorney general is one that she's talked about a little bit, and it seems to be, her main focus of her campaign seems to be this record as attorney general. And there's a few different things in there that I think over the years she's come out in favor of that might not align with that. And that's what we're really doing is kind of digging into that past and seeing the things that Heidi Heitkamp supported as attorney general. But certainly, as a former attorney general, there's things that are happening right now, whether it's Obamacare in the Supreme Court or whether it's this energy litigation going on all across the United States. I mean, these are things that a former attorney general should be weighing in on, and should be weighing in on in a very decisive way, as opposed to the sort of back and forth way that we've been getting from Heidi Heitkamp.
It seems as though, whether it's Heidi or Ryan Taylor or Democrats in general, that the idea of the economic prosperity created by the energy development in North Dakota, they have to walk a tightrope, so to speak. They want to try and say they're for it, but at the same time, they got to nitpick and find things that are bad about it, and so they really aren't on. They're really fence riding, aren't they? I mean, they're either for it or they're against it, and it seems to me they've done more in their power to try and. I mean, I can cite many examples, but Ryan Taylor right now is talking about, who cares that we're number 2 in production, but how we handle the impacts of that development, make sure our quality of life is not sacrificed. I mean, does Ryan Taylor really think that North Dakotans are not equipped to take this boom and ultimately continue to control our quality of life? You know what I mean? Yeah. We can't walk and chew gum at the same time. Or does the Democratic fundraiser of note, Tim Purdon, the U.S. attorney, really think that there's organized crime concerns, that we need to have conferences in Denver and pull out law enforcement folks to talk about prostitution and drug running, or that we ought to, thankfully he's been repudiated for this, but criminally charge, federal court, 7 oil companies over 34 dead birds. This is the kind of stuff they're doing to try and stunt the growth of the industry. And, Heidi Heitkamp and others ought to give us a little clear indication of where they're at. Get on one side of the fence or the other on this, but it seems to me they're doing everything in their power to claim they're for energy, but their actions are actually trying to slow this down. Is that what you're looking at?
Yeah, I mean, they're trying to have it both ways here, and you can't really do that in any state, especially a state like North Dakota, where this is the, one of the main campaign issues that's going to be in play this year. I mean, I don't see how Ryan Taylor or Heidi Heitkamp can go around the state and talk about slowing energy production down when they also have to talk to the voters from other states. I mean, think of all the people who have moved to North Dakota in the last 2 years, and they've moved there because they moved here because they've been disgruntled in other states where President Obama's policies have failed them. I mean, they come from places like Colorado, places like California, where regulation and red tape has hampered those economies. And so they come to North Dakota, they get a job, and then Heidi Heitkamp goes around the state being wishy-washy on energy production in North Dakota. And I don't think that works for them at all. I think that's going to be a losing message if they try that game.
Oil production could drop 37%. Natural gas production could drop 11% if new EPA rules are put in place. Washington Times story recently as an example. Do we have specific examples of Heidi Heitkamp saying the EPA is wrong and here's what I'm going to do if I'm elected?
And that's the thing, we don't. And so far that campaign that she's run has first of all been unusually quiet by North Dakota campaign standards. I mean, there's been events she's missed. She's missed parades in Bismarck and Williston. She just hasn't been out there on the stump, and I think that's going to hurt her on the long run, because there's a lot of these questions, like you mentioned, Scott. I mean, these are very valid questions for someone who's a former attorney general wanting to represent an energy state in the U.S. Senate. I mean, these are decisions that are huge, and we've seen how active Senator Hoeven is on these issues, and so we know that these are major decisions that Heidi Heitkamp would make as a U.S. Senator. And I don't think any North Dakotans have the confidence that she would be able to stand up to the president that she called amazing just 4 years ago.
Well, and if we're wrong, come to the Williston Basin Petroleum Conference. Come on out to the Bakken. Politicians love to hold press conferences. Hold a few. Give us a real black and white view of where she differs. I think that's a very important part of this campaign. Matt Becker, North Dakota Republican Party. Thanks for the update, Matt. We appreciate it very much.
It's Scott Hennon from the North Dakota Petroleum Councils to tell you how important traffic safety is to North Dakota's oil and natural gas industry. Road construction is ramping up in a big way in our region. There's additional obstacles on the roadway, even in the winter months. Please practice safe driving habits and plan a little extra time to reach your destination with all this construction underway. Remember, we all want to get where we're going safely. Let's work together to make that happen. In an effort to improve our state's infrastructure, the legislature dedicated $1 billion to road and infrastructure improvements in western North Dakota. The progress zone is all around us. It's great news that this is taking place, but as these improvements do take place, we encourage you to have patience and practice safe driving. The North Dakota Petroleum Council, in cooperation with the Department of Transportation, is investing in public safety on the roadways. Industry employees are part of the public. Our goal is to make North Dakota's roads a safer place. To find out more about safety efforts by the North Dakota oil and natural gas industry, visit ndoil.org. ndoil.org.
Will I have garlic breath after I take LEC?
We get that question all the time about the world's best garlic extract, LEC. And the answer is, LEC contains stabilized allicin, nature's antimicrobial agent, and the active ingredient in crushed garlic, but will not give you garlic breath. Scientifically proven in double-blind studies, using low doses of allicin greatly reduces the number, severity, and duration of common colds. Our powerful LEC contains 300 milligrams of stabilized allicin. Just one tablet of LEC is equivalent to 40 garlic cloves. It's effective against asthma, MRSA, bacterial, fungal, and viral infections, and helps lower high blood pressure and high cholesterol. Plus, it's a natural mosquito repellent. Boosts resistance to infection with nature's best garlic extract, LEC. For more information and to order LEC, call 877-888-7126 or go to garlichealthproducts.com. That's 877-888-7126 or garlichealthproducts.com. Fight back with LEC.
For a long time, you've heard me talk about building your own food supply with eFoods Direct. As a listener, you know why you need to have a supply of the best storable food on the planet. Every day, we document the attempts to take control of our lives. But there's one thing we can all control, your greatest dependency, food. eFoods Direct products are made with only the best ingredients and none of the trash and contaminants like trans fats, GMOs, or MSG. This food is nutrient dense and tastes great. It's simple to make, portable, and has a shelf life of up to 25 years. Now with eFoods Direct, you'll get the most affordable, best tasting food you can buy. And the new products and pricing will blow you away. Compared to other food sources, including home-cooked meals, you can cut your food cost in half. You just can't afford to ignore this. Call 800-409-5633 or go to efoodsdirect.com/Alex for specials. Don't let this offer pass you by. Call 800-409-5633 or efoodsdirect.com/Alex. More of the best for less, guaranteed.
Don't answer it. How can I stop these annoying collection calls?
Imagine being free from your debt without settling and with no payment plans, no negotiating or filing bankruptcy, and no attorneys. What if you could eliminate the risk from all your unsecured debt in about 90 days and keep all your money? You can. It's called Zero Debt Guarantee, and it works. There's no other program of its kind on the planet, and we guarantee the results in writing. Call now, 800-477-9256. Let our team of experts provide you with the resources to fight back, stop collection calls, and prevent and stop wage garnishments and bank levies. If you're facing foreclosure, we can help. Don't go it alone. Get free information now by calling 800-477-9256. Talk to an expert who has also completed our program. Call 800-477-9256 for free info or go to ZeroDebtGuarantee.com. That's 800-477-9256 or go to ZeroDebtGuarantee.com.
Healthy soils grow healthy plants. So before you plant your survival garden this year, is your soil healthy? Maximize your crisis garden soil with EM1 from Terraganics. EM1 organic soil conditioner, fertilizer amendment, and compost accelerant provides healthier gardens and faster, efficient garden composting. EM1 from Terraganics.com quickly improves soil structure by increasing nutrient availability and converting organic matter into soil humus. This improves seed germination and root growth, improves plant quality, size, color, flavor, nutrient value of fruits and vegetables, and improves shelf life. And when rain is not in the forecast, no worries. EM1 improves moisture retention in soils, helping reduce drought stress. Just like you prepare all else, prepare your crisis garden for maximum yields with EM1 from Terraganics.com. Order now at TERAGANIX.com or call toll-free 866-369-3678. That's 866-369-3678. Terraganics. Life's getting better.
Somebody's got in and show another comment line comment. They keep pouring in at 855-200-1776. We love it. Here's a
hi, Scott.
Hello.
Say, I would like to recommend that you post the text of that prayer on your website. There, it definitely is a good prayer and puts some structure, I think, to the thoughts and the intentions of it, that people can continue carrying on. I'm not a Catholic, but we're brothers and sisters, and I think something that's well said like that would bear repeating, and I think that'd be a good place to put it. Thanks. Bye.
Appreciate the call and suggestion. By the way, we'll do that. I'll slap it up before right at the end of the program here on our Facebook page and ask the team to put it up at flagfamily.com, as well as where, by the way, you can leave your comments as well. Flagfamily.com. Remember that. Also at scotthannon.com. And I want to remind you that in addition to the comment line 24/7 at 855-200-1776, 855-200-1776, or going to the website, flagfamily.com. You can also send your comments to us by regular mail to Flag Family, 3301 South University Drive, Fargo, 58103. So keep those comments coming. Glad you liked the prayer. And I brought up the prayer in the context of the Catholic Church fighting the religious freedoms coming under attack by the Obama administration in the name of health care. And that I'm proudly a Catholic, proud that the church is taking this on because others are being silent on a lot of issues right now, out of fear, I believe. But I think that prayer that we read and that we'll post, that's about as non-denominational as you can get. I mean, that is, our founding fathers could have put that as part of the founding documents. Very basic to what we believe in and part of the pledge in it. Let's go to Mike in Elbow Lake, Minnesota, while we're waiting for our next guest. Hey, Mike, how are you?
No, I'm great, Scott. You know what? Listening to your voice on the radio, once again, it's kind of like listening to a song that I haven't heard in a long time that I always really enjoyed and liked. I'm just so glad that you're back, and I don't have any suggestions because I like the way you ran things, you know, when you were at the helm the last time. So I'm just going to sit back and enjoy the ride, and I want to thank you so much for being there again.
Do you have any idea how kind your comments are?
Well, you know, like I say, I've been on the bottom of the. Sometimes I've been not just on the bottom of the barrel, but I've been under the barrel. The barrel's been on top of me, so I know what it's like to go through what you did, but yet, you know, you came up on top. So thanks for not throwing down and just staying in there.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the encouragement and to be likened to a song, especially with someone who whose musical talents are regularly challenged by his children and spouse, rightfully so, because they're not very good, is quite flattering. Mike, I appreciate that. And we kind of feel like our 40 days in the desert, or in our case, 4 years, are behind us, and we're looking forward to new things. And I am very sincere in wanting this awesome part of the country to be able to build something going forward that'll be more than a radio show, a radio program, but collectively the causes we care about can make a huge, huge difference, because just pure geography, we have something unique with this tool. And the uniqueness is the geography that speaks to conservative, God-fearing, freedom-loving, Constitution-worshiping folks in a broad region. I mean, we've proven that just in the last 4 or 5 programs, you know, however long we did this, I guess 5 times last week, a couple times this week already, and where we're hearing from. I mean, well into Minnesota, well into South Dakota, all across North Dakota, parts of Canada, and a lot of good happens. A lot of people are standing together for what they believe in that area, and what we're trying to do is put some structure together to say Mike in Elbow Lake has as much to contribute as Scott from Fargo, and if we do this together, whatever lane we choose, of faith, of freedom, of free enterprise, a family angle, whatever you're passionate about, let's take the good that's being done. Let's stand up for what we believe in. And if we agree that we're at a very, very historic time in our country, at a decisive hour, then we've got much work to do. But we'll be a lot better at making sure we leave a better America for our kids and grandkids if we do it together. That's what I'm trying to do, and you're all inspiring me. And your comments today are no different, Mike. So thank you very much, and keep listening, keep praying for our success, and keep participating, keep contributing, and thinking about ways that we can do this, okay? I appreciate you very much. Thanks so much. All right, now we were trying to track down Tom Hauser, who's a political reporter for KSTP, and evidently there was something wrong with his phone. He was gonna give us a little update on the Ron Paul factor. Oh, okay, we got him. We're gonna have to do a TV like soundbite time, Tom, since we're up against the clock here. But you're used to that. You can speak in 40-second sound bites and say everything that needs to be said. So I got a whole 2 minutes for you. How are you?
Good. I don't know why your calls haven't gone through. I've seen the call come in and I've tried to answer it about 10 times. I don't know what's going on, but it's finally got a connection.
Yeah, we had a little technical issue, I guess, with the connection. We couldn't hear you. But anyway, the Ron Paul factor at the convention. Give me the cliff notes on what it means going forward for conservative politics in Minnesota.
Well, he certainly propelled Kurt Bills to the GOP endorsement in the Senate race. And I think he was not the only factor, but I think he was one of the big factors. The Ron Paul faction was able to pack a lot of delegates into that convention. I don't know how that's going to work going forward, but certainly in the endorsement process, the Ron Paul endorsement of bills was very important. I don't know how much that's going to be a factor in the general election against Amy Klobuchar.
Is this a product of the disgruntlement of the party? I mean, they've had money troubles, they've had leadership troubles. Is this a new wing taking over, or is this just the Paul folks that are well organized and they're very concerned about what's going to happen in the Republican convention? Are they the disunity and the dysfunction of the Republican Party playing a role here at all?
I think you're right. I think they took advantage of the discord and the disorganization in the Republican Party, the financial troubles, and they were able to tap into something and obviously were the major force. Once you get to general election politics, as you know, it's a whole different ballgame, and they're going to need to expand well beyond that to beat someone like Amy Klobuchar, who has very high approval ratings.
And no matter who that nominee came out of that convention, they had a tough road to hoe. In fact, just the fact that you didn't have a candidate who'd been, a major statewide candidate previously in any significant way or well-funded or whatever says most of the establishment's pretty scared of Amy Klobuchar, unfortunately, which is why I give those three credit for throwing their hat in the ring. But no matter who emerged was going to have a tough time. And why I appreciated the national committeemen saying, hey, enough of this. The Paul folks over here, the other folks over here, you better unite as conservatives or go to work or going to go nowhere. Tom Hauser does great work for KSTP TV, political reporter there. Thanks for the cliff notes on it, Tom. We'll have you back. We're live at the Williston Basin Petroleum Conference at Bismarck tomorrow and Thursday. By the way, Friday, mark it down, Edward Klein, author of The Amateur. Comment line stays open 24/7. Check out flagfamily.com, folks.